Hi. So today we'll be discussing, instead of my regular webinar, we can discuss about the 20 mistakes that a PowerPoint presentation uh, makes. Let me change my name here. Let me rename my name as my real name. It is Sangeeta N. So here it is. Yeah. So, what are those 20 mistakes that a presenter normally makes, which actually makes the class boring, and nobody wants to wants to listen to the presenter anymore. So, let us discuss all those. This is Sangeeta, and I'm a leadership growth mentor, and many people I have seen in my team, they actually dread writing a paragraph, a page, or making a PPT. It is so easy. Just putting a few uh, recording of whatever you are thinking into the PPT will go a long way in documenting your day. Do you know that or not? So let us see what are the mistakes people make, and how we can resolve that. Simple sensibility, right? So here are a few things. And have you seen PPTs which are full of texts, pictures, and other things? Pictures are okay, the figures are okay if they are conveying something, but if the pictures and the figures are crowding the space in that PPT, then it is not making sense. It is not delivering whatever it should. So allow me to share the PPT, and then we can talk, right? Let me make it full screen. So 20 mistakes in a PPT, and this I have sourced this from Mr. Blair Singer, the super coach, who is the coach to all my coaches. So let us dive deep into the PPT. The main thing in a PPT is data, right? So did you see, did you notice that the PPT is so simple? It has just one word, which is called data, right? Did you see that? So here it is data only. So as I was saying, I was looking at a PPT of Mr. Sawan Kapoor, who is the leading Red Diamond Army, who is the leading career coach today, and he was showing a table, right, which is a complex, not very complex. Actually, he has made a simple table out of very complex data, and he was presenting that per barrel of wine is costlier in his company, and from that data he has derived the uh, fact that some herapheri is going on in his company. Somebody is charging more as a collusion with the distributor, and it is costing the company more. So in comparison with the competitors, the company is losing profit, right? So can you bring on such a story to your data? If that is so, you can just write one liner like, let me write here. Let me share the screen again, and here what I can do is, instead of data, what I can do is I just write one thing. This data shows that. me delete this. That there is some wrongdoing happening in the company. So even if I write such a sentence, suppose I write this looks very big, let me uh, change the font size. This is what you can do, right? Suppose I make the font size 32 and then I take this to here. Look, if the audience reads this data shows that there is some wrongdoing happening in the company. It is a story, right? They would like to know more how this has happened. Then you can explain the data more, not here, not by putting in the PPT, but by explaining them the logic, right? The competitors per barrel wine was like say around seven to $8, and his shipment was about $15, double the amount, right? So this becomes a story. Now the your audience becomes interested, right? The next, be interested. The PowerPoint presentation is about being interested in the audience's apprehensions, their questions. So you have to anticipate those questions beforehand. You need to be interested in what is their problem. Why are you presenting this PPT? You are presenting it because you have discovered some insight which you want to share. So why they would be interested in your insight? That is because it will solve some of their problems. So which problems? You need to know and present accordingly. So be interested in their problems and present your data, your insight, which suits or will solve their problem. The third mistake that people make is right versus wrong. When you ask a questions, there will be some answer which will be in favor, some questions will be against. So some people will say yes, some people will say no. So when this happens, you cannot offend the audience by like say siding with just one set of people. Nothing can be just black and white, right? So you have to allow the audience to be specific why they have this kind of answer, right? This you need to allow so that the audience learns the other side of the perspective and also become open to the other person's viewpoint. So this you need to do in your audience. That is how you expand the thought process of your audience. This is precisely what you are set out to do. Tell, don't sell. So you have to just tell your figures. Don't just put your opinion about that, because people might have a different viewpoint and they have some kind of objection to whatever truth or facts you are presenting. So be disattached, unattached to your facts, and just tell this is what you have discovered, right? Ask. So instead of going on telling whatever you have discovered and all that, just ask questions about what they think about the statements that you are saying. Ask, right? Don't attempt to solve. There might be some problems people will say when you say something, state something, and then you ask a question. People will come up with not a solution, not an answer, but another problem. So This is not your job. This is not the ideal situation to solve that problem. The idea is to present the same problem to the audience so that another set of audience actually tries solving that, and that will trigger a very useful discussion. Allow them that discussion. So when somebody says whether you like that answer or not, when you have asked something, somebody has given some information, acknowledge, right? Just don't ignore. Whatever you have heard, acknowledge, say thank you, right? Thank you. And always know whether the energy level of the team is dropping. They will be saying sometimes yes, sometimes no. So accept both the answers and be with them. Be sentimental with them, empathize with them, and suddenly just don't open up a PPT. Don't go to the next slide without asking for permission. Ask them the permission whether you can introduce this particular slide, because in the course of the discussion, the next slide will be useful, and we can take our discussion further. That is the permission you need to seek. Just don't force your PPT onto them. Talk as it is, whatever is there, just present, and don't give your opinion. Take them along with you. Whatever you think is the statement that you have made, just ask them um, to ask them to deliberate on this while you are presenting your views. Once you present, a PPT is what? You are presenting your view, asking for opinions, right? People should know, and they also should have the scope to ask back some questions. Why not this? Why not that? Right? So mm, take ask them that, allow them that room. The next is stop answering after a while. What happens is when you allow them to ask a lot of questions, people will go out of the way at times. Some people, their thought process is such, it is not intentional. The thought process will allow them to go um, go in a certain direction depending on their prior experience. So what they will do is they will start thinking, because you have allowed for some time those thought process. So after some time, don't answer their questions. So then what will happen is, and get back to your flow. Otherwise your PPT will not be complete, and this discussion will lead to something else. See, you need to achieve some balance, right? Some balance in how much you should tell and how much you will allow them to take this discussion forward. Unless their active participation happens, the presentation will become boring. So you allow them that freedom, right? But after certain point, when they go, like say, tangential is into some direction, that is the time when you should stop answering those questions, so they will get back to what you were saying, to your thought process, rather than getting, there is certain, like say, when you have allowed that thought process to expand, people have people also include their thought process into your space. So it is now your space plus their space. They are thinking in a broader term. They are not listening just to whatever you have to say. They are thinking and interpreting in their own turn. So that much is required, right? So now at that moment, you just stop and get back to your momentum. And suppose while you are talking, because now when you stop answering their question, there is a moment when you should allow them to realize that the main topic that you have been presenting is the central point that around which this discussion should go on. And if while you are talking, telling that, elaborating on that, PPT is not required. PPT in any case will have one liner, one figure or something. So the PPT will not explain everything. If you think that the PPT explains lot many and gives them information, then send the PPT beforehand so that they come prepared with that PPT, with those information which you need for this discussion, and allow them to discuss as it is. If you have given, you have taken back your space, the momentum, allow them to discuss also, small discussions, not just elaborate discussions along their own tangential lines, right? And this is a rule of engagement, like how much they have to discuss, interpersonal discussion will happen, how much they have to pay attention to you. This rule has to be set prior to the discussion. So as we say in a webinar, that the rules are as follows. You will ask the questions at the end. You will maintain a notepad and pen wherein you will note down the questions, and then you will respond to each question. These are the rule of engagement. So these rules will be set in the beginning, and accordingly how much after each PPT there will be 4 questions or 5 questions. That rule should be set. Otherwise you at a particular time when there will be heated discussion, you cannot take back the momentum without the rule, right? And show vulnerability. You are not the legend with the practice. Whatever insight that you are bringing in, you are not the legend with it. You are not the master. Show them that this has taken some kind of failure on your part. That is why you have been able to have this insight. Tell them that, so that the audience relates with you. They empathize with your failure, right? And yeah, allow them that space, that silent space, and handle the heat. When people will completely, there will be some points when nobody, there is a larger portion of the audience, they are not going to agree to you, so it will be kind of heated exchanges between them. You don't have to be part of that heat because you are unattached. You have to anticipate this heat, this kind of opinion you have to expect, because there are certain discovery in our lives when only we know that such kind of situations happen. Other people have to undergo such situations to know. Otherwise, they will have some pre-mindset. So when they react to your statements, just be, like, say, uh, disenchanted or nonchalant to it. Listen to it. I have seen a professor handling this kind of situation. He completely uh, loses, he forgets about his blackboard. He has written some theory and he offers the class to present their viewpoint. Why they see, why they will take a different viewpoint rather than what is being said. So he allows them to take that, and then he presents his final insight to bring them back to the present discussion. That is the way to go, and it takes some practice and disattachment, right? Take the comfort level. People might be bored after some time. So as soon as you know that the energy level is getting down, bring them back with some question, or ask them, what do you think that this particular situation, um, it would have been interesting, or what do you think that this would have taken a different shape. Allow them to talk. So whenever you think that you have been like say talking for say 5 minutes, bring them back with some questions, right? And of course, if it is a selling kind of situation, or you are telling your idea, uh, give them the value. Some of the questions they will ask, you will not know. You don't know everything, right? As I said, allow your vulnerability. So allow your ignorance also to show up. You don't know. You will ask, you will take their permission to come back with more information afterwards, but acknowledge that you don't have all the answers right now. So that is something which gives a lot of value to the audience, and also respect, right? Acknowledge that. Thank you. So these are the ways to make a presentation, and very interesting presentation, and none of the slide has to have more than um, 6 or 8 words. Please remember this, and if you like this video, please like the channel as well. And if you want to be part of my course, then please click the link below to come to my club first, and then you can get in touch with me to get into the course. So that's it. Thank you.